Okay, so we'll just never know the answer to that, will
Yeah,
we?
never know the answer. Nobody's going to see what's happened there.
So I just have another question, because you guys are from West Kingdom, and everybody knows West Kingdom is where it happened. So you guys are like at the heart of SCA history. You're like where it happened. And have you been to Milpitas? And is it a magical city? It's like everyone's most awesome event.
No, okay. So Helga and I both live in, well, until me very recently, lived in San Jose, which is, Milpitas is a suburb of San Jose. San Jose is one of the largest cities in America. It's not as glamorous as LA or San Francisco, but it is bigger than San Francisco. So Milpitas is a suburb of that. It was literally about 11 miles from where I lived. It is a strip mall where the SCA headquarters is.
Wow.
It is not glamorous. It is not sexy. It is not magical. It is none of those things. It's actually like a suburban strip mall. You'd miss it if you just were driving past it.
You're kind of destroying a little bit of my soul there. I thought it would be like,
sorry, like ruin the magic.
Yeah.
The magic's gone.
Milpitas is well known in the South Bay. San Jose is known as the South Bay area in California. It's actually known as where the dump is, and it's not. It's very fragrant.
Okay. Have either of you ever been to the original SCA event site? Is that still there?
In Berkeley? Yes, the house is still there. I have never been there. I've walked or driven and past it. The house is still there. But yeah.
And what did you do in that site that you can't speak of there, Sir Helga?
I was going to say.
I know, Helga
that looks like a guilty expression.
Words.
I have 100% jump defense to steal dirt.
A+.
I think a lot of people, I think actually the current owners have to like realize.
So the current owners at this point, if you knock on the door and you're like, hey, I'm involved in the SCA, they're like, here's your dirt.
So is that like a thing in the West Kingdom to like go to the original site and like get some dirt?
Oh, it's actually like a huge thing. So I've got reliquaries full of original tourney dirt.
Yeah.
And then like that was actually one of the things that we gave out during our first train, is that we had reliquaries made of first tourney dirt with like a little scroll wrapped around it. So it was done as like the 15th century reliquaries that I actually gave out to other royals and like other people that did like really cool things during the reign.
Yeah.
I actually have one.
That is so cool.
From a different reign, actually.
We did something for the Estrella 2019 Estrella where like it flooded, and we gave like the reliquaries of mud that said Estrella in it. But that yours is way cooler.
So I actually think all the reliquaries that we do are really cool. Like I've got this really strange like little SCA reliquary collection. Because like one of the things that is really cool in the Outlands is the Outlands has the box of crown tourney dirt. And so every crown tourney, this box goes to it. It's this amazing box. And literally, if you flip it open, any mundane would be like this. Wait, what the hell are you talking about? But every tourney both gets dirt and gives dirt.
That's
and so that box contains every tournament. Every crown tournament is in that box and blesses the field before fighting, and then contributes the box to the box for the next one. And it is one of the coolest things. And occasionally they do little reliquaries out of it.
Yeah, we couldn't do that in Avacal because one of our crown tournaments has to be inside because it's in the middle of February and snow is like 3 feet deep.
Yeah, but that's one of the cool things about the reliquaries is that there are reliquaries out there that are things that other kingdoms literally can't do. Like I have a reliquary that is one of my favorite reliquaries that is volcanic ash off a West Kingdom purgatory that happened in Alaska when the volcano was going off, and they scraped it off the Crown Pavilion and made reliquaries out of it. How freaking cool is that? And then like I've actually got some of the Outlands tourney dirt that was given to me as royal. It was a royal exchange gift, and it is one of those things where I collect those because those are literally the history we've walked on, and they will mean nothing absolutely nothing to somebody that does not know our history because it is just dirt in a vial. But for us, it's literally our history. It is the things that we wrote about or that we read about in history of like, so-and-so traveled upon here and here is the dirt and this is blessed by this saint, blah, blah, blah. We have our own versions of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. There was a lot of feels there.
That's super cool.
Oh my God. I'm geeking out like a lot inside and trying not to geek out outside. It's not working very well.
No, you let it go. Just embrace it.
So, is it okay to tell your friends that you love them?
Yes. 100% yes. Like, Helga, I love you.
I love you too.
Like, I hella love you.
I'd
That's like
probably bury a body
Northern
for you.
Californian. Hella love you. What was that?
I said I'd bury
was
a
that?
body for you.
Oh my God. That's even better than like you know what? I'd give you my avocados.
Ooh.
I don't know if Thorfinn would give them up though.
Well,
Well, would you want the avocados after he's done with them? That's the main question.
I mean, they'd just be a little extra
would-
salty.
I'll take him. Helga and I go way.
Back to your show that you guys do here. You do a live show. You guys are much braver than us because we like pre-record. Have you ever been tempted to pull there's that reporter guy who like just stormed off an interview, is like, screw you all, and just flip the table and left. Be like, I'm done with you, and choke yourself on your mic or something and then leave.
No, not really, actually. There were
Sorry.
a couple. Well, there was at least one person that was on where I was just like, but it wasn't table flipping. It was mostly just like I didn't know this person very well, and I will not say who it is, and it will go down in history as anonymous. But there was never a moment where I was just like, and F you, like that's
and done.
Yeah, no, never. Because, honestly, at the end of the day, we want to put people on the show. They don't have to necessarily be like super good friends of ours, but they have to be like interesting, and we already kind of know ahead of time, who we're going to talk to and how they're going to react. At least one of us knows that person and vets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Helga, she's like, oh yeah.
No, actually not every day. So this was a moment where I was given an opportunity to call out an SCA privilege and did not. And internally I was like table flip, and then I dealt with it like anybody on a live show would, where you're like, ha ha ha, and laugh it off, versus calling your guest out. And somebody said, because I have ducal prerogative, I can get away with a lot of shit. And I can start shit.
I can't remember anything that was said on the show like that. So we're gonna.
You were not on that show.
Oh.
And
Thank you.
it was a moment of failing of mine that I did not call them out. And I regret it to this day, because we are not heroes in big moments. We are heroes in small moments that deal with microaggressions. And that was a microaggression that is prevalent within the SCA of, we allow our royal peers to get away with a lot because they are the power holders. And it was a learning lesson that I almost just got up and walked away from the mic, where I was like, I don't know how to deal with this socially. I don't know how to deal with the fact that I invited you on this show and you just fucking said that.
Yeah. And live too, because again, you don't
we're live. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way to just be like, I'm cutting this out, and right now we're gonna have a conversation that you're never gonna say something like that again in your life. And so I like laughed it off, and that was the worst thing I could have done.
Yeah.
That was the coward's move.
No, that was the socially conditioned.
I was gonna say socially conditioned.
Yeah, that's
Socially conditioned does not mean that as a knight I was not a coward in that moment.
Well, it means that you know what unfettered what you could have said, but what you've been conditioned throughout your life to do, you defaulted because we have, you know, a lot of shit at stake. There's a lot of things at stake. And to call that person out in that moment is going to put all of that in a whole bunch of question.
And like you said, having invited them onto your show and it being live, like that's a tough situation.
Yeah. And with that, I know that given the opportunity, that I hope that I would be strong enough to be willing to just be like, fuck the show right now.
Yeah.
What you just did is actually part of the prevalent problem within the SCA of allowing this to go on and just being like, oh, haha, whatever. And then dealing with it. It's like, check, don't hang out with that dude. Instead, I would rather risk my reputation and I would rather have the argument and have a guest storm off than be a part of the person that keeps the problem going. And so realistically, I wanted to storm off because of my own actions, not theirs. Because in that moment, I feel that I failed all of my peerages. I feel that I failed, especially being a knight, because I chose non-action when I should have taken action. And for that, I didn't live up to what the populace expects out of me.
Fair.
There's for your heavy-handed answer.
I was gonna say, oh, that got deep.
I was like, ooh.
How are your Toby?
I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I think I'm going to have those thoughts with Helga after the show.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's
but
fair.
I mean, go easy on yourself.
Well, it's one of the things that somebody pointed out to me, and to continue down this very heavy path, is somebody pointed out to me is, what do I have to lose in the SCA? Literally, I am one of the most privileged people in the SCA. Nobody can threaten my place. I'm a royal peer, I'm a pelican, and I'm a knight. I would love to one day be a laurel. One day when I can't take the heavy field and I can dedicate myself to the rapier field, cool. Being a mod would be amazing.
Yeah.
I know that right now the heavy field is what like consumes my universe and my brain. And so that is not looking down at rapier at all, because I actually came from a rapier background. Yeah, it's for a weird Raya or Helga fact of like everything. I actually started fighting rapier before I ever found the SCA. I did Olympic level fencing and rapier. And then I found heavy fighting, and heavy fighting just consumes my brain right now. And so I can't dedicate myself to rapier as I wish I would. But literally, because I come from one of the most privileged classes within the SCA, it means that I actually have more onus to call people out when they're douchebags.
Right.
And I really hope that doesn't totally get edited out. Like, please blip me there, but that's one of those ones where privilege equals power that then should be used to better it for everybody else that doesn't have that. And I hardcore failed at that moment. Like, all of my privilege, like literally I have the platform to just be like, hard no.
Guess what though? You have what, 34 years of conditioning of don't rock the boat. Like that's the hard part in the moment. And that's the hard part about doing a live show, where when a situation comes up and Helga and I both feel like we know pretty well we're gonna be able to predict the answers fairly well. Not 100% from the people that are on our show, but the conditioning that comes in as a woman, which is, don't rock the boat, don't make it weird. We have a whole thing that we have to like preserve the, and I'm sure Helga was sitting there like, well, Sassy's gonna be, like has to deal with this, and Baby Ninja's gonna have to deal with this, and Carius is having, and Katrina and Reese and like all the other people that are on the back end are all gonna have to, it's gonna just all trickle down from this of, if I call this person out in this moment, and the easiest thing to do, or not the easiest, I shouldn't even say the easiest, because it's not easy. It's the safest thing to do is to not in the moment be like, and hey, hang on, because that's going to create, everybody else has to have all those issues.
Yeah.
And that's okay. that's okay. You know, don't beat yourself up over it.
I take it more as a lesson than beating myself
Yeah,
up over
exactly.
it. Of
That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah.
like,
That's
if,
kind of what I
if
was trying
put
to say.
back in that.
Yeah.
If put back in that situation, I have enough training to deal with it.
Yeah.
And also I should have the faith in myself to deal with it, as well as continuing to protect the crew and yourself and the show.
But also, just it's okay if you let it go, and you know we'll.
I'm not big into that self-forgiveness.
But again, if it can be
flagellation,
if it can be a lesson, then it's not nothing. If you
you know
can learn
exactly.
from it, if you can learn from it, it's not nothing.
Next, and warning to anyone else who's going to be on the show next time. You know, Sir Helga will call your shit out.
Maybe. Who knows?
Next time I'll
Don't
be
be a
like,
jerk, or else.
this is my moment.
I'm really jealous of your
You have
like
lights set up in the background, ready for it. Just ready for it.
my
Like,
microphone
literally this. So Sassy,
doesn't
this
look as
mic,
cool.
this mic on the boom has been the best thing ever because it's like an extra
Ew.
prop where I can be like, I am intense because I'm strangling it right now.
Damn, I need that.
You know, or I
Fair.
can like pet it happy, or I can like lick it.
I mean, I do like I like my snowball. My snowball, so it's an omnidirectional thing. It's really good, but kind of really into that mic though.
I'm gonna cut over to another question real quick. And
Before it gets awkward.
how many kingdoms have you hit? Not literally, but like how many kingdoms have you had on your show?
Okay. Aitenvelt.
Okay, so Aidenvelt West, on tier, Lockhawk,
Lockhawk.
mid,
Eastern Lockhawk. Outlands, right?
yeah, oh yeah, no, we've had that one.
Callantyre. Callantyre. Wait, are we at we're at 7 or 8?
We've had Glenavon.
Glenavon.
We've had East.
Nice. I got East already.
Did you get East? Then yeah, we are totally.
Did we get Atlantia? No, I don't think we've gotten Atlantia.
I'm gonna go look at our chart.
You should. You know, look it up because we've got
I
all
have
these
Google Docs for this.
Yeah,
We'll edit it in afterwards. It was actually this many. But from what I heard is Avacal is missing from your list.
Yeah, Avacal is in fact
Avacal is missing from your list.
Yeah, and we don't have Ethelmark. We're just failing on all of the Canadian kingdoms. Like
no. So Eldemir.
What about North Shield?
Right. Yeah.
No, we haven't had
No, we
North
don't
Shield.
have
We've got
North
somebody
Shield.
from North Shield that wants to be on.
That entire upper border area is just completely missing.
Well, it's a great ice wall that separates the southern kingdoms from the northern ones. That
I think we are very.
We got Trimaris.
We did. We had Kaid.
We got on tier Kaid.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we
Outlands.
definitely had Kaid. Yeah.
We are north of the wall. It does make it harder sometimes.
Yeah.
I know we're terrible. No. We haven't done Drakenball.
Ooh.
I don't think
We haven't gotten to do Drakenwald yet. I've got something lined up for that though.
We've done people who have been in Drakenball, who aren't anymore. Actually, one that's going back to Drakenball. Name.
Yeah, that was the
Where's
first episode of
Bear
yours
Killer
we stalked was the former Queen of Drakenfeld, who had no idea what was going on in her court, and I was like, "Ooh, this is some pretty intense stuff we're talking about here."
So we watched little bits of for educational purposes
Yes.
and listening to a queen going to Drakenwald to not understand the language that she was supposed to do her first court in was like.
I mean, that's a real thing that most of us don't have to deal with.
We have Duke Sven, so we have shit. Where's 2-6 Sven from?
Jen?
That's a very common name.
Duke Sven. He's Anstiora, I think. Yeah, he's Anstiora. We're at 11.
I think we're over the halfway mark.
Yeah, you're
Hey,
more
that's
than
impressive.
10.
That's
Okay.
impressive.
Yes, we
Where's
are
Gigi
sorely
from?
lacking. We are sorely, sorely lacking in Avacal. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm. Yeah. And you've shined a light on this.
I'm gonna go with we've done 11 or 12 kingdoms.
Okay.
Fair, which is really good. That's
We try.
Maybe 13. I've got to double check.
that's fair.
When I joined the SCA, there were only 13 kingdoms.
Ooh, fun fact. More fun facts.
That was a fun fact.
So and onto the crawlery side there, because we discussed with like my history in various kingdoms. Are there any that you're not allowed to go to or have said no, we don't want you here?
No.
Excellent.
No,
No.
okay, that's
See
a
my
good thing.
face, probably all of them.
Well, I'm not Helga. What I'm saying is like me, nobody knows who the hell I am when I walk into like, some non-Western event. They're going to be like, Your Excellency. And I'll be all like, pew, pew. Cool. Now,
Now, yeah.
my boyfriend, who has been king 4 times and prince twice, there maybe is a little bit of shenaniganry there. But for me, I'm incognito.
You're
Nobody-
safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Up until recently, nobody knew who I was. Helga.
I don't think there's any kingdoms that I am not welcome in, or at least
At least not to your knowledge.
They're like, that Helga's a B word.
I'm actually betting that after the show, there's a bunch of people, and like after some of my very stern posts, like I bet you there's a bunch of people that are like, I am never going into a camp that chick's in.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't think people you want in your camp though.
Also, like, I have no problem telling other knights to be like, wow, are you speaking from privilege? Like, could you jerk it off a little harder? Like, I've got a fake one that's bigger, but I'm pretty sure your stroke's longer because it involves your goddamn ego.
I'm using that at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Make that your ringtone. Like, this is what I'm like.
Just
I
sound
envision-
clips from this show.
you're right.
Well,
What are some of the challenges of trying to shoot a live show? We've touched on a couple of them.
Everything?
All of it?
So let me just like completely change the topic here.
Yeah.
Internet connection, excuse my language. Like,
At this point.
actually, amusingly enough, my favorite one is before about halfway through the show, Sassy and I both had the brilliant idea of why did we not have a questionnaire?
Actually, it was more than halfway.
Like for our guests, like why do we not have like things that they can rate 1 through 10 to tell us what? Because we had a show where somebody said, "Oh, I was super open to anything that you guys threw at me," and then we would throw stuff at them, and then they'd be like, "Oh no, I'm not prepared to answer that," and we're like, "You said anything."
Your anything and our anything, two different.
they're very, very different.
Yeah, and we realized that it was 2 different animals. And so one of the things that we did is we actually took the time to build a questionnaire that we can then send the people that were going to be on the show. So we had an idea of what questions to farm for them.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. And so that was one of the the big challenges of the show is building questions that our guests wanted to answer.
Yeah.
And like would be engaged with, and it would feed their want to be on the show, because there's nothing worse than being on a show and being hucked a question that you're like, well, that was a trap.
Mhm.
Versus like being on a show where you're like, ah, cool, like this is within the realm of my knowledge base, and like let me geek out for a moment. Like I'm not sure what the question like was coming, but this totally fits my wheelhouse, and you get much happier guests on there. And so that's one of the big challenges and how we kind of overcame it.
Nice.
Nice. And what are? Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say that like one of the things that occurred to us very late in the game was the asking, how did you find the SCA? Like what brought you to the SCA? Like that occurred to us way later than it should have. But yeah.
So what are some of the rewards of shooting live? Like you have the format you've kept with it. Must have some pluses, right?
Well, so I have ADD, and I am a person who doesn't, I'm non-neurotypical. I am a person who does not plan well. I'm a person who does not, adhere to a, set schedule very well. Doing it live for me has been really liberating because it's just in the moment. It's a thing like, Helga and I, we pick the questions ahead of time, and we kind of know what's coming up, but honestly, I don't necessarily retain that information before it comes on the air. But so like a lot of times it's actually like me experiencing the question for the first time along with the guest, because I don't remember what we actually asked. But being non-neurotypical, that's the thing. So yeah, like I like the off the cuff. I don't want to remember lines. I don't want to adhere to a script. Like that stuff feels very limiting, but I want to just be in the moment. Okay.
There's also the fact that we don't have to edit the show after.
That
You get what you get. Is that show just a mess? Are we all over the place? Well, cool, great. There's your fireside experience. Are we on topic? Are we focused? Are we together? Is our guest like on point the entire time? Like, are we mic dropping left and right and like having these deep philosophical conversations mixed with dick jokes? Yes, we are. Like, bang, done. It is posted. We are over. There's no post-production. Whatever happened. Like, welcome to what Helga and Sassy are. This is unedited, just
how it is.
the hell this is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, we've interviewed a couple of people now from different shows who also do live, and that's the same thing. No editing. That's what I love about live. No editing.
It's super liberating.
Have you had a favorite guest on your show?
All of them?
That sounds a little bit of a cop-out, but okay.
I'm gonna go with.
Mommy doesn't have favorites.
Mommy doesn't, but I do.
Okay.
The one that stood out actually is Seto, Count Seto from the Middle Kingdom, and he is such a pure and wonderful human being. And I'm going to give my answer to the question that you told us up ahead, which was the next one, like a co-host, like the guest. I'm going to also say that Seto was my favorite guest host.
You can jump ahead. It's all good.
Seto is rad, and he just is a lovely human being and is such a joy to talk to. And
I'm also going to go with Seto ate fruit lounging half shirtless most of the show. Like, I would also like to note that man is very pretty.
He's very pretty. And that's not, my answer was not based on his attractiveness. It was literally based on his, like, engagement. And
I believe you, Tulia. I believe you.
But goddamn, that man. But it was a delight, a legit delight.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for the future here, do you have anyone you absolutely want to have on your show, like someone from, I don't know, Eldemir or Avacal or Ethelmark or
any of those Canadian
any places?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the cop out of saying you guys, because holy shit, this has been fun.
Right.
But we just got to know you, and so we're gonna have to put you on the potential guest list. I'm gonna actually say the current king of Drakenwald and his lady, because holy shit, are they fun.
I don't know them.
Oh, they're delights.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I like it.
I am fangirling so hard on both of them. She is snarky and witty and just sassy and just like pins him to a wall now and then. And he is like the poised English gentleman that also beats fools down with a stick.
I love those kinds.
Like,
I was gonna say that sounds like a great combination.
Yeah.
So other than Avacal and Ethelmark and Drakenwald, and I missed one, but I would say the other one off of that, I actually on my wish list is Al-Anon. Al-Anon.
oh yeah.
Oh goddamn! I want Al-Anon on so bad. He is such a good guy. He's from Atenveld currently. He was going to move to the West. I don't know how that's going to happen because of COVID. It put a stop on a lot of things. He and his lady, he's a duke many times over, Tremaris and a couple of other kingdoms, I think.
He's reigned once in Adenveld.
Yeah, he's definitely a couple of times in Tremaris, right? I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really mad if I get that wrong. But anyway, Al-Anon is rad, and I would love. He's on my wish list. I would love to have him on the show. Another one I would love to have on my show is Steingrim, Duke Steingrim of Antir, and originally of the West. He's been around so long. He reigned as King of the West when he was still in Antir. And he is a delight. He's one of my favorite human beings on the entire planet. And he and his lady, in fact, Viscountess Genevieve, wonderful human beings. Like that, those are my top three right there. I would put that top three. Yeah.
Exciting.
So being that you guys are now been at this hosting a show for 52 episodes plus bonuses plus side ones,
I think we're at 58.
58 shows.
Oh God, that many.
Any advice for anyone who wanted to say maybe start their own show? I mean, the shutdown's going to be probably going on for a little bit further, so there's still room in there, maybe.
Okay.
Don't listen to the haters. Do what's going to feed you, because any show that we hold as what we consider an ego project, it's not Sesame Street. It's not going to change the world. Like, this is actually a very real conversation.
Yeah.
Do what feeds you to continue being there every week, because it doesn't matter what your audience depth or breadth is if you are trying to meet the needs of like all the niches of the SCA, you yourself are going to burn out in the process. So build a show that feeds your needs, because it is a little bit of an ego project. Like, as I said, if it goes away, nobody's going to die. It's not going to change the world. You want to know what you're doing? Is you're giving your friends a platform to either be with you or watch you be yourself. Do not lose yourself to a show. So make something that's going to feed it. Like, I absolutely adore Between Two Privies. It is a direct riff off our show. A direct riff. I know the people that are making it, and they even message me and they're like, hey, we don't want to offend you. And I'm like, no, do the thing. This is amazing. Oh my God, do it.
Actually, really good.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and they're doing totally non-peers, and they're just being hilarious and sassy, and they've got great conversations going on. And you want to know what? They actually had people go and be like, you're just ripping off Between Two Peers, and I'm like, I'll come defend them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're totally ripping us off in the best way possible. Do it. Keep doing it.
It's the highest form of flattery.
I was about to say the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, but that's one of those things is, if you want to start your show, one, ask the other people that have been doing it, because they're going to give you all the tech advice. They'll give you what platforms are running on, because all of us have our own little niches. Like, Between Two Peers has a tech crew. So we've got a behind the scenes tech crew, so we don't have to run stuff off like StreamYard. Like other places use Zoom and pre-record. Some like Calbar's Corner uses StreamYard and hosts multiple shows. There's tons of people that will give you the knowledge for free. Don't hit the first 4 months of struggle bus like all of us did. Okay, we spent the time. We have the knowledge. Please pretend that we're laurels in this at this point in time because we're just about there. Okay, we can tell you like, hey, Zoom crashes on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 4 and 7 p.m. because everybody's using it. Okay, don't do this. And so check out those people, ask them questions, and just hang with them for a minute. They'll help you because all of us hosts out there are just like, oh, please God, yes, make content. Like, please, this reduces the pressure on us. And remember, have a delight with it. And when you stop having fun with it, change it.
Yeah.
What she said.
Sorry, I didn't mean to consume all the airspace there. Sassy.
Honestly,
Nope. Yeah. Well, so now I have a very personal question for each of you.
Yeah.
So looking behind you, I'll start with you, Sir Helga. What is behind you? Like, what part of your house are we in? Is this like your bedroom that you've like dungeoned up, or just like actually a stone wall in your basement?
Oh no, this is my office.
It's your office. Okay.
Yeah. So welcome to my office. I'll even take you on a tour. I don't promise any steady camera on this. So behind here is my magic bookshelf with all my work and all the dead things that I store on top of it, along with my helmet.
Excellent.
And then if I pick up my camera, I would like to show you the walls where I store more dead things.
All the dead things.
And art, because I have original signed freaking Invader Zim art, because that's what you should have.
And
Of
I'm
course.
so mad about that.
Envious.
So, and this behind me is German for bounce house.
I was gonna ask you about that actually. Like,
Okay.
So, but yeah, I used to have a museum level collection of skulls, and I sold it off to pay for my medical debt. And I'm finally adult enough in my mid-30s that I can start rebuilding my collection.
Nice.
Rough.
Okay.
Because, you know, in the US, all of us must surrender our lives for at least 10 years to crushing medical debt or student loans.
Yeah. Or both.
Yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Yes, yours.
Shoot. So we just moved. I've had this wall painted blue for a couple of weeks, and I just today stuck these beautiful decals. These
so pretty.
gold stars.
Okay.
Because I love, so blue and gold, those are my heraldic colors, and they're
Mhm.
also my favorite color combination ever.
I approve.
Yeah, and I'm literally sitting in a 12 by 12 room with a lot of boxes in it. It's not going to be very exciting. I used to film in my basement studio in my old house in San Jose. This was what, like 2 or 3 weeks, three weeks ago. We moved here, and I lost the basement studio, but I would at that time have shown you all sorts of magical things of like fabric stash and costumes and all those, that they're all packed away right now, and it's not very exciting.
That is fair.
Fair.
I mean, if we really want, okay, fine.
Well, I no peer pressure from us.
It's also
But
very dark. Oh God, there's my ring light.
Nice.
This
Nice.
looks like some really bad TikTok video right now. I'm waiting for the reveal.
Yeah, there's my window, and it's literally a nightmare. You don't even know. I'm in a very nice suburban office bedroom.
transform
Excellent.
into a magical starry area.
I was gonna
for-
say the stars
Sure,
look so
yeah.
pretty. It's great.
Oh, I love the
I
stars.
just put this up. It was really good.
I figured I shouldn't run the camera around to where I've got the baby gate that keeps the 2 German shepherds out of my office right now.
Hey, we have a second German Shepherd. Wait, what?
I'm babysitting the man-at-arms German Shepherd.
Wait, also, did you or did you not paint your living room that blue color?
Oh, my living room is 100% that blue color.
She's all like, I like that blue color. I'm like, girl, I can totally give you this blue.
My
It
entire living room.
touches.
Perfect. Perfect. So my next question is very divisive.
Ugh. Can't be worse than the like literally can't be.
Sorry, we should have warned you ahead of time. Skeld asks shenanigan questions. That's
Wow, that was out of nowhere. But anyway, continue.
So what is your favorite D&D edition?
100% none of them, because I am not a D&D player. I have literally played D&D like once in my life, and my poor boyfriend is having a heart attack right now somewhere off screen. Who is like, has been playing the original. I bought him the original white box for Christmas last year. The original, like, you know, original edition white box D&D thing. And I'm like, I realize this is a thing that you find very important to you. But for me, like, I played D&D for a hot second in my teens, and I was basically like, you nerds are really way into this dumb thing. And what I'm going to do, because I have a processing disorder, is that I'm going to just cause chaos because I can't follow rules. So
I know people like who do that on the reg. So
my favorite D&D, God damn it, I just got text messages. Anyway.
He can hear you.
It is literally not D&D. It is probably actually GURPS, because GURPS was a lot simpler and D&D. Anyway, continue. Helga, what's your favorite D&D?
Y'all are gonna fucking hate me. I don't play D&D. I play Savage Worlds.
I mean,
I thought you were gonna say
okay.
4th edition. I was like, oh, if it's 4th.
No,
Yeah,
4th edition is bullshit. Bullshit. You want to start anybody in D&D? I'm sorry. Let's do goddamn calculus. That's how 4th edition is. Okay, I do have feelings on each edition. Like, I'm really good with like 1st edition and 2nd edition, because you want to know it? You can teach anybody to play it. Like, 3rd edition, you're starting to get a little complicated. Like, cool. That is 2nd edition. You must have played 2nd edition to like understand 3rd edition, like, and then you can kind of get into 3rd edition if you're playing and you have somebody to kind of like handhold you a little bit and be like, hey, hi, new to D&D person. And then you have like 3.5, which is literally just a jerk off to the emotional badassery that was D&D in some dude's mind in the fucking 70s while he was in his mom's basement hoping to get laid. Okay, like, I am a god of this, and so I'm gonna make it so hard that nobody can play. But like, why is nobody playing with me? Because you're making me do calculus, you cocksucking asshole. Like, that's what's going on there.
That's literally
D&D,
D&D
which
is
100%
calculus.
and then doesn't play within any fucking like reality in there, and then tries to go back to like the 1st and 2nd edition. Like, just go back to the original. It fucking works. Just add shit to it. Like, how hard is that? Reprint the book in better binding. Oh my god, this is so hard. Like, woo. So me, I just look at all that bullshittery and I'm like, Savage Worlds. It's all based off D4. I can just add shit. Like, when I level, I just can add points in there, which means I get an extra sided dice. Ooh, great. Like, this is super simple. I can teach somebody to play this goddamn game in like 30 minutes. It doesn't take me 2.5 hours to make a character sheet, and then everybody's yelling at you because there's not enough fucking popcorn and drinks. And why haven't we started the game yet? Well, we have some noob that we're having to explain spellcasting to because they want to be a goddamn necromancer. Like, that's like, I don't play D&D because D&D is complicated and it's just overblown ego jerking masturbation to a fucking thing that has survived generations. That's why I don't play D&D.
Say that.
So
That was me saying those words.
I was gonna say that is my favorite answer to a question that somebody's like,
okay.
I don't do that thing, but I have opinions on the thing.
There you go.
Oh, it was amazing.
Sorry, my entire life is melting down right now, but you know, it's cool.
Okay.
Fun. So
I'm really sad that none of you guys were drinking stuff during that rant. I'm pretty
I'm
sure
sorry.
those rants are the reason why Sassy has me on the show.
But I was too busy enjoying the rant because it's not wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that you guys are amazing, clearly. If, say, I wanted to get some merch, can I do that?
Pew pew. Yes, you can. We have a Redbubble. Redbubble / Between Two Peers. We have merch. All proceeds from the merch go back into the show. Actually, it really goes into bribing our crew. So like with proceeds from the merch, we've bought everybody glow in the dark glasses that we all drink with during the show. And we support Historical Glassworks at the same time, because also go spend money with them. They're amazing.
Clearly.
So,
Yep.
but we have stickers, we have t-shirts and everything else like that. We've pulled merch that we have gotten bad feedback from. There's a couple things of merch that didn't print well and survive washings. So when you're like, why isn't there a Spite Sprinkles t-shirt? Well, it didn't survive washing. Here's your sticker.
Fair. That's fair.
Also, P.S. we have leggings.
We do, and they're really good, and I would normally be wearing them.
Yeah, I wear my Spite Sprinkle leggings a lot during the show. Still
sounds
not
awesome.
answering if I'm wearing pantry yet or not.
No, you have not.
If you're looking us up on Redbubble, we are between number 2 peers. It's not between the word, not all the words.
Yeah.
Between
Fair.
number 2 peers.
So, I mean, I may have totally stalked that page also. And actually, I originally found it by accident, which was even better for me. But I have to ask, who is your artist? Because, oh my God, that merchandise is adorable.
Stevie.
Yeah, so we have a couple. Stevie has done all the caricatures of us, the Spite Sprinkles designs. She did all that. Then we had fans do the Whimsy Weed designs, because that is one of my favorite quotes from any show. And then I do the toe bean toucher ones.
So we have several.
Yeah. So we've got multiple artists to contribute, and then so we have fan art that comes in, and then if the fan art is something that we want to turn into merch, we then pay for access rights to it.
Nice.
Because
really
always
awesome.
support your artists.
Yeah.
Artists should not give you your shit for free. Pay them. Even if it's just sending them $25. They gave you your time. I will stand on this hill and die on it.
Excellent. I also noticed, and I'm sure this will surprise everyone, but I noticed that some of your merchandise also has mature content warnings on it.
Yes.
What?
I'm actually looking it up right now to see which ones we've got mature content warnings on. And I think
There
that's the
were
washer
several.
ball.
Your
Oh,
stickers.
that's the washer balls.
Yeah.
Duh.
There's an always washer ball sticker.
Terrible.
As I was looking at that, it's like that's definitely what I need to now put in my D&D books is a picture of Sir Helga telling me to wash my balls and have it in my D&D book.
Well,
so.
I was going to say, I feel like those are stickers that I should just buy a plethora of and randomly stick to people's armor bags.
I would really like to note that I think Sassy still has the ultimate quote of the show of "Get a better origin story."
Oh no, that's my favorite. That's my favorite saying ever. Because sorry, I had a very fraught relationship with my last relationship that I was in, and that said individual basically, well, I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. He cheated on me with my apprentice, and one of the excuses that was given to me by said apprentice was, you know, I was bullied in high school and I never felt valued, et cetera, et cetera. And I kind of just flat out said, get a better origin story. Because we've all been bullied. We all had a crappy life. Like, life is literally going to take a dump on you at any goddamn second. And if that is the reason that you're going to use to be that crappy, wow, get a better origin story, because I heard it. So yeah, get a better origin story.
I like it. A+.
I like it.
Sorry,
That's
I didn't
good.
want to go like weird without, but that's
That was
where it came from.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Get a better story.
To change course a little bit here.
because we do that a
years.
lot.
Sorry.
Shifting gears.
Yeah, shifting gears. Whipping the horses a little harder here. So what question would you want someone to ask you? If there's something about you that you'd be like, I want you to know this about me, what is it? And if it's inappropriate, we can edit it.
We stole that one from your page also because I believe the context at the time was everybody gets asked questions in the SCA, especially if you're a peer. What question does nobody ask you that you really people would ask?
That's a good one.
We stole it from you guys.
So that answer changes depending, like if you look at it, that answer changes depending on a person's emotional state.
True.
But I don't actually remember asking that before.
That was actually, it was a really good conversation. I actually remember that. It was in the earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
did a
went
deep
way
stock.
back,
I mean,
guys. I
deep
went way
research.
back.
I hope you enjoyed the ride.
I did.
I'm gonna say is one of the things that many people don't want to discuss. We're gonna go heavy as
Awesome. I'm ready.
is discussing the hard days. So I live in what is considered the gray area of suicide, which means there's always kind of that background noise in my head of, and many people that survive with this understand it. But people don't want to talk about it, and I think that's actually kind of a little bit of a toxic culture of many more people in the SCA and outside of the SCA could use different coping mechanisms to turn down that noise.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that. We don't have that conversation because nobody knows how to ask, or nobody knows how to be that vulnerable with people that they look up to. Or people that they think might have the answer. And I would love to have those conversations more because I've lived with it. I can't remember a point in my life that I didn't have that extra soundtrack in my head. And if I can impart that knowledge onto somebody else and it could save somebody, or it could help them get through a time, or if I could give back the way that other people gave back to me, I wouldn't heartbeat.
Nice.
Because somebody at some point saved me, and the only way that I could ever repay them is by paying it forward and paying it to somebody else. I want to have those conversations. I want to have those super hard ones that, like, I have almost given up my knighthood 3 different times during this pandemic because I felt that I was failing, because my mind told me I was failing. What it meant to be a knight, and I stopped because I had to listen to the faith of others around me. And learning how to do that has been such a practice. And in learning how to do that, I've also learned how to quiet those voices more. And maybe that will continue my survival on many more years, because we see so many people eventually surrender to that extra voice in their head. And if I could help somebody overcome that, if I could help somebody fight that a longer fight, I'm doing my damn job. I'm doing the thing that somebody else gifted me with. And so I would, if somebody wanted to ask about that, I'd have those conversations. I realize that it isn't a happy answer. I realize it isn't the fluffy answer of like, I wish somebody would ask about like what horse I first rode, or like something else like that. Is like deep dive here is I wish somebody would ask, I need help. How did you survive this? Because I can guarantee you I've survived having a knife to my wrists. I've survived doing some really dumb shit trying to hurt myself. And if I could stop somebody from ever experiencing that, I will give them my time.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna drink after that one.
That is fair.
That's fair. That's well, we started heavy. We're gonna keep going heavy.
Yeah, no, that's what. So anybody who's complaining about how random the show is, but don't forget, there's also really good content too. So
anybody complains about this show, they can fucking fight me. Good God.
Well, I mean, I would like to someday. I like.
I was gonna say. I
so,
mean, traveling to the west. When
I got friends in the Bay Area that I need to go visit again. So.
Sorry to follow that, Tulia.
What she said. Kidding, actually. Also, as a person who has struggled with suicidal ideation extensively, that's a whole thing. You're not alone, and okay, but the thing that I actually would like to be asked. What's it like to get so close to winning and lose?
Oh, solid.
I'd love somebody to actually ask me that, because we talk a lot between two peers and other shows and everything about, like, you know, the winning consort, how to be a consort. And the how to be the consort is to be the person who wins, or whose fighter wins, I should say. Fighter wins at the end of the day. That is a successful consort. And I am not a successful consort. I have been to semifinals and finals many times and have never won. I would love for someone to say, hey, what's it feel like to get so close and to not win? Because that's been my entire experience as a consort in the SCA, and it's a lot of baggage. And but honestly, that is the vast majority of consorts experiences in the SCA. Not winning. What do you do when you don't win? And you know, or your fighter doesn't win. What happens? You smile and nod and you thumbs up, go team, yeah! And then you go back to your tent and you cry for 3 hours. Well, that's me anyway. But you know, I got asked very recently to be a part of a consort panel, and that was something where the panel was royal peers, so duchesses and countesses, and then there was me, and I was like incredibly flattered that somebody thought to include me on this thing, that they wanted to talk about like my experiences as a consort. And I'm like, there's like 4 or 5 other people in this who have reigned, who are successful, and I was the only person. And I actually had to actually say, like, I'm the only person who has not reigned, who is an unsuccessful consort, who you only think that I'm a person of, you know, interest to talk to because I am a face and here, but I've never reigned. And I don't know what I can add to any of this. You know, are we going to talk about like what's it like to be a consort? Or are we going to talk about what's it like to be, you know, after you reigned and, you know, all of that stuff? And, in the SCA, we talk about that. That's what we privilege, you know, is the you've reigned, go you, successful consort. What's it like to be a consort? And many of us out there have never reigned. I kind of want to, I want to talk about that, and it'd be cool without being a super downer like I accidentally was in that chat question yesterday.
Oh no.
Sorry guys. Oh, guess what? Didn't mean to be like a super bummer, but never reigned. Don't know what to tell you.
I think that's an important conversation to have, though, and
that's
and
actually
like
something I
that
wouldn't
side.
really consider, but yeah, that is maybe something that should be talked about a little more, or maybe to prepare consorts going into a crown tournament.
Yeah.
So if you're this close,
or even just in general, because for as many people as we have who have won a tournament, have many more who haven't or never will.
or we have one of our knights who he's been to the finals more than anyone else, and he has yet to have a victory.
Okay, has he beaten 7? Because we have a knight in the West that has 7.
He was at 6.
Okay,
six second places.
So he's got a couple
Keep
more to
in
go.
mind, in Avacal, we've only had 13 crown tournaments.
Yes.
Holy shit.
So better than 50% of the time.
I mean, my whole thing is like, it's an honor just to be nominated.
Yeah, right?
You know,
Right?
my sister is actually a Hollywood actress and like has to go through this all the goddamn time. And I'm always just like, you know what? It's an honor for you, for me, for you to be nominated. So that's what I'm saying. It's just an honor to be nominated.
That's fair. That's fair.
But it is one of those things where we talk about like the successful consort is the winning consort.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a crappy thing because most people out there who are consorts are not winning. So we should talk about their experiences.
Yeah,
And that would be cool if we could have that conversation another time.
Yeah, fair.
That's awesome.
So to add into this, because it's been so fucking heavy, I wish people would ask Sassy how to turn frustration into brilliance and forgive those that transgressed you.
Not spite sprinkles. That's easy.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy for you and I. But I think that that's a conversation that you could foster in frustrated students really well.
Oh, I'm
and I think
a
that
frustrated asshole. Like that's literally me.
yeah, but I think that you can foster those conversations and bring out the best in people while they are frustrated, and also understanding that some of that frustration is both internal and external, and identifying it within yourself so you can continue to move forward. And I think that if more people asked you that, we would see students move past some of the stuff that they're hanging on to and into their own brilliance, because you foster that in those that are around you.
Oh, it's all about like harnessing your anger.
I said it in eloquent words.
You did. You had
said
many
it.
beautiful words about it, but I'm just like, what pisses you off? Somebody says you can't do it. Well, you know what? F them.
Yeah, it's gonna get done.
More people need to ask you about that.
You know, cool.
So I'm gonna switch gears again. And Sir Helga, can you tell us how did you become a pelican?
Oh God. I'm like 3 drinks in.
This is a bad thing.
Okay, so how I got my pelican is, so I was told by the queen that elevated me, you are getting your pelican and telling the establishment to go fuck itself.
I like it.
My favorite quote of the STA ever.
A+.
And may I live up to such words.
Right?
And actually, in all my peerages, I wish to live up to such words, because they are heavy and they are brutal.
Yeah.
But how I got my pelican is that I had 2 horses go opposite directions with me. I actually understand what it is like to be drawn and quartered. I have an 8-inch scar on my shoulder. I have 5 surgeries so I can touch my face. And I had 3 different surgeons tell me I would never fight again. And in that process, I was given a gift. And the gift was understanding where the Western society was broken. And then trying to foster a bridge between the knights and the unbelts. And standing between them and saying, well, I've been told I'll never be a knight because I chose to be broken. And having the unbelts being like, well, you're not fighting. So why should we follow you? Organizational talents, motherfuckers. And so I became a pelican in doing what others told me they could not do. And I set a goal out for myself of, at the point in time, we had a very big gap between the unbelt said the knights won't train us, and the knights said the unbelts won't come to us for training, which means there was a fundamental fault in communication.
Yeah.
And so my little flag of like, I will figure this out, said, I'll make an event where this is forced to happen. It's called Meet and Beat. It is a direct, I would like to note, I'm going to take this as a direct, like I went to Sport of Kings and went, this is brilliant. I will control copy this, control V, and make it a week, and just make it a day event.
Nice.
And then I pulled all my little strings for like, you owe me for the time that I pulled you off the side of the road. You are showing up.
Yeah.
to all the teachers and said, no ego, boys.
Yeah.
No ego. We are here to train. We are here to be exactly what the West boasts it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I became a Pelican almost kind of in networking.
Nice.
Okay.
And like crowd management. Basically, I'm a PM Pelican. I'm a project manager Pelican. Do not give me
Nice.
paperwork.
Mhm.
Don't ever give me paperwork. I will not order privies. If you need a place to pee, that is not my job. Okay, I want to note that. Not my job. Okay.
Noted.
Making sure people show up. That's my job. Making sure all the processes are gone through. That's my job. Paperwork. I suck at that. Do not ever make me a kingdom officer. Also suck at that. And so I became a Pelican in like, fuck you, basically. We have a problem, nobody's addressing it, and so I'm going to force people to address it.
Yeah.
I'm going to force people to have these conversations. So where I joke all the time that my Pelican is telling the establishment to go fuck itself, is really my Pelican is in mediation.
Nice.
What does one side need to communicate to the other? Because in the SCA, the upper end cannot survive. We always think of ourselves as a pyramid. We're actually an upside down pyramid. And if we don't recognize that, we fail. The populace always has control, because without belief, without faith in the crown, in all the peerages, guess what? Our entire society fails. So we must give power to the populace. We must give them voice. We must make sure they feel heard and acknowledged in any process. And if we do not, we fail as peers. And so that's where I became a Pelican, and then organizing that into like some weird event. Like that's where I'm like, okay, cool. Everybody's having these emotional issues. I'll make this event. Just don't give me the paperwork, okay?
You'll have people for that. It's fine.
Yeah. And I coerced a lot of friends. I owe so many favor points in this kingdom. Oh, when those start getting called in, man, I am screwed.
As long as they come in one at a time.
Yeah, and so that's the one thing. So long story short is that my Pelican is basically in networking and then standing against those people that would. And so my favorite story in all this, and my one glory moment in being an unbelt, is I had a group of knights come to me at one of these events that I organized and said, Squire, you are above your station. And me, in all of my egotistical anger that I could not fight at that moment in time, because I am in a sling. I am literally in a brace where I cannot move my arm or touch my fucking face, and I have broken my back. So, like, I am walking, which is a goddamn medical miracle at this point in time. And I look at these knights, and I stare them dead in the face, and I go, maybe you should rise to yours.
Ooh.
And fucking walk off. And at that time, like, my brain goes, there's your knighthood, there's your Pelican, there's having any friends in the SCA, there's all of these things you just whoosh, flushed down the fucking drain. And all I can think is, fuck you all for trying to preserve an idea that has been dead for 10 years. Do not starve on your own renown. Make new renown for the next generation, for that is the only thing that will keep you relevant. One day I cannot fight. One day I will not ever be able to pick up a heavy stick. Like, I live with a timestamp that I understand. I have 9 pins and cadaver parts in my shoulder. I have a pin in my elbow. I have shattered bones in my back that will never heal.
Wow.
I literally have a timestamp that at some point I may never walk again. And knowing that actually makes me a better peer, because I have to teach my students to be better.
Yeah.
I have to teach my students to carry on what I cannot do, and them to be better at articulating, teaching, and fostering the next generation. Because if they do not, I have failed. If I do not foster that in them, I have failed. And that's all peers' job in the universe, is literally we're a stupid pyramid scheme. All peers must create more peers. Like, we must teach more peers to be peers so we can continue the pyramid, like whatever. And if we understand that and we get the idea, we give the next generation power. By understanding that I have a timestamp where I will no longer be relevant, I give the next generation power to take that from me without me being like, no, oh my God, I must stay relevant, even though I'm like 48 years old and I can't fight anymore, whatever. Like,
48,
I actually
you
broke my
fight.
chain doing that, by the way, and this is my
Literally 48 is a young man in the
Yeah.
SC.
Yeah, 48 is old for
Let's
me.
not
Come
say
on, whatever.
48.
Like,
Okay, let's not.
That's
but
too
the
soon.
thing
That's too soon.
is I think that the SCA doesn't understand that and doesn't foster that. So that's what my Pelican is in, is fostering a realization that I won't be here for much longer.
Wasn't your husband 48 when he won the last crown?
Okay, I would like to note that my husband was 50 when he won the last. Like,
Our current king is over 52, so
but that says something.
yeah.
That says something that we haven't taught the next generation to kick our fucking asses.
Mhm.
Mm.
Thank you, Sir Helga. So, Magnifica, Tulia. So, how did you become a Laurel? What is your special skill that made you Laureled?
No, I sew really well. I sew a lot and I sew very fast, and I am very adept at what I sew. So that's how I became a Laurel. I'm also an academic at heart. So it's one of those things that, you know, the stars aligned. It took me 17 years from the start of the FCA to Laurel to get laureled, but I did it. And now I'm on the other side of that. Well, 17 years. Okay, it's probably more like 19, but yeah, I did it.
Wow.
Okay.
There was a lot of deviations because I am also a person who likes to just noodle and excited about like rabbit holes to go down. Yeah, so I got my Laurel in Elizabethan costuming. That was my passion for like the vast majority of my life in the SCA. As you can see, it is.
I was
not-
gonna say, I mean,
Yeah. I think
It is
you look
not
pretty
anymore.
awesome.
A large part of that was because Elizabethan is very, very hard to wear. It's not hard to sew. I mean, for some maybe, but the thing that actually cut me off of it was it's very hot in Central California, and wearing a lot of layers and a lot of gear and a corset and all of those things and headgear and the whole rig, it became incredibly hard for me to function at events, because we do, in the West Kingdom, we mostly do outdoor events.
Yeah.
And so when it's 90 degrees and there's no shade, it's a scorched path of earth in, you know, the middle of California. It's not really easy to wear.
not so much. No.
Yeah.
So while I can document it and sew it, and you don't even, you know, like
Make it fancy.
in record time, it got to the point where I was like, I just can no longer wear it. I can no longer wear it. I can't show up in events like it unless it's an indoor event and climate control, because I would shut down. I would go into, you know, like heat stroke. I actually started stroke it. One of the last very last events I wore Elizabethan at, it was very touch and go. And I had this wake up moment. I had this wake up moment where I was like, climate change being a thing that it is, I can no longer do the thing out in the open with the event sites that we have, with no shade, no, climate control, any of that. So long story short, I started getting very excited about Slavic.
Okay.
And Slavic happened because, so the West Kingdom, much like Antir, very much got this whole Norse thing going on. Like it became a whole thing about 20 years ago. And I never wanted to wear Norse, never found it really exciting, never really was excited about it. But more and more of my friends were into it, and many of my dear friends, including this ding dong boyfriend of mine. And as I got sucked more and more into this migration era thing, I was like, well, what do I like that stylistically that is the, that fits with that? And Slavic, or basically, we'll just call it Slavic. Anyway, it's very Rus. That's another blanket term for all of it. That became a thing that I got very excited about, because it was actually very, physically, the silhouette was very pleasing, and the jewelry was jewelry. Oh, that word is really hard to say after you've had like 2 cocktails. Anyway, the jewelry is amazing. And so, so that's where I was like, oh, I'm really into that idea. So that's where my brain is going now. But yes, my persona and my name, it's late period Italian.
Nice.
Okay.
So you said it took you almost 20 years to get your laurel. Did you find that a difficult path to stay on because of that? I know that there's a lot of people who find that they, after a certain time, they get burned out, and it's not
my path was very much a like, up and down thing. It was peaks and valleys.
Right.
And I thought I was on a path for a long time, and then I realized I wasn't, and I course corrected, and then I got a laurel. I'm sorry, and then I was apprenticed to a laurel. Not that I got a laurel. Duchess Juana Isabella de Montoya y Ramirez, which is also very hard to say after you've had 2 cocktails. Juana Isabella de Montoya y Ramirez, Duchess Juana, she apprenticed me. And then it was a bit of a course correction, etc. So my path towards, like, the thing that I'm interested in and my laurel was a very meandering, like, honestly, it looks like a roller coaster ride with a lot of loops and ups and downs. So I really got focused, though, about 2010-ish, 2009, 2010. I really was like, you know what, this is the thing I really want to do. I'm going to focus on it. I've been in the SCA since 1993. I am going to, like, literally throw all in, though. And once I got focused, and once I really drilled down, it was, I got offered in October of 2011. I was elevated in January of 2012. Not to make it sound like it's a very straightforward thing, but once I started to focus, it was a very straightforward thing. But before that, it was literally the loop-de-loop, like up and down roller coaster thing. So it's a very individualized thing. There's no, like, point A to point B, like, tick all the boxes. It's a journey that everybody has to figure out on some level on their own.
Fair.